Rob Williams is the national sports editor of the Daily Hive and its Offside Sports vertical. Rob, the Abbotsford Canucks hockey guy on Twitter. The Canucks are done, Rob, but I know you, like many others, glued to that press conference Monday. The Hughes comment jumped out to you, did it?
Guys, I was absolutely blown away. It was the last question of the presser. There was no reason to bring up the Hughes, like the brother connection, in terms of the question that was asked. The question was asked, I think, formed in the way that has been talked about in the market a lot recently, is like, are you concerned about Hughes leaving, and what do you have to do to keep him happy? Like, it was something to the effect of that. And
he said 100% agree. That was the first words out of his mouth.
Well, I mean, I think that was fine. I like that kind of honesty from Rutherford is great, right? Like, why sugarcoat it? Like, yeah, we really need to keep him, and we're gonna, he basically said they were gonna buck up. They're gonna clear enough cap space to make sure that they'd have enough money to give him the contract that he deserves. But then he says, well, maybe it won't even come down to money, and it might be something to do with his and then mentioning that he said that he wants to play with his brothers. Like this, I mean, I'm sure like Hughes will get asked about this, of course. I'm sure he'll give a very diplomatic answer on the first day of training camp or in one of the informal skates in September. And we'll kind of move on, but it's going to be a talking point now. Like, I mean, for the media, this is great. Like, gives us something to talk about. And so why, in one sense, like, why should we criticize something like this? But from the position of Canucks management, who we keep hearing that they want to reduce the noise. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm not sure they do want to reduce the
I see
noise.
there's three possibilities here,
They
Rob.
don't behave as though they want to reduce them.
Which door is this? It's just him vomiting truth, and he just couldn't help himself. He was just speaking off the cuff, and it is what it is. That's possibility one. The second one is it's calculated, and he's feathering the nest for the departure, and he's basically saying, we saw this coming, there was nothing we could do, don't blame me. Or it's three, it's calculated because it's the start of him trying to manufacture some miracle trade of one direction or the other. Which of the three is the most likely scenario for you?
I think it has to be option number one, because I mean we're a full year away from them being able to start negotiations. Like, I think it's probably unlikely that they have a great idea that Hughes is already out the door. Right? Like, whether that happens or not, I can't imagine.
You don't think they know that now?
I can't imagine that Hughes has communicated that, hey guys, yeah, you know what? In a year from now, I'm not going to sign an extension. Like, I just can't. That seems far-fetched.
I can't imagine that, Rob. But the exit meeting would have been interesting with Hughes. Your second year captain, and that's
if they're this honest with us. Imagine what's happening in that room.
Well, and imagine how honest Quinn is in that room with regards to, okay, I not only have to be the best player on this team, but I'm sorry I have to deal with shit like that all year. Like, I can understand if they were put on notice or basically hinted at that more of that, and I'm walking.
I mean, unless they're planning to trade him this summer. And they already know that it's going down that road. I don't see that. Like, you've got a whole year to convince him to stay. There's many ways you can do that. And then the other option of like, is this like, do they actually think getting his brothers out of New Jersey is a possibility? Like, if this is a real thing, like that the only way you hold on to Quinn is by getting his brothers here. If you're New Jersey, those are the only two guys you do not touch from your roster, because you can get Quinn Hughes in a year or two. Like, so it makes no sense to me whatsoever. I think the chances of them getting either Hughes brother, I mean, I hope this is a clip you guys played to make me look foolish and down the road because they've swung a deal for Jack and Luke Hughes, but like, I just don't see it happening. It just seemed lunacy to bring any of it up, and now it's like, it's not just like some theory on that a Canucks fan is bringing up on Reddit. Now this is like a legitimate question that Hughes can be asked. It's a legitimate question for us to be discussing, because the president of Hockey Ops basically said, I might need to go trade for his brothers or Quinn is gone. I mean, that's wild stuff. Why bring it up? I don't understand the benefit to the team.
So I'm just going to put this out there, and you've already sort of hinted at your answer, but like, does the Quinn Hughes trade this summer, does that not give you your instant rebuild? Like, does that not give you 4, 5, 6 assets where all of a sudden you're a much deeper organization, even if you lose the star power of Quinn? But of course, you might be losing them in 2 years anyway. That doesn't appeal to you in the least, Rob Williams.
Maybe Alex Edler's record is safe. Maybe it will get surpassed. Could you imagine? I mean, guys,
he would send the biggest bouquet of flowers. He would be, thank you for preserving me.
He'd be like the Miami Dolphins perfect team. He'd be popping the champagne.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, still, and still the champ. No, like I mean, they've waited 55 years for a defenseman like this. You got to do everything you can to keep him in on the roster. I just don't see it. Even if you think he's likely gone a year from now, or likely not going to sign an extension, you can change people's minds. Like, you just need to make him happy, and you need to. And I think the thing that's going to make Quinn Hughes happy is feeling like he can win a Stanley Cup with this team in the future. I don't think they need to turn it around in all in one summer and make him think that they're gonna lift the cup in 2 years' time necessarily. But there's got to be a future at the very least for that to happen. And I guess the other thing is, like, we're talking about bringing two of his brothers here. They really only need to bring one, right? You bring one, and then he doesn't need to leave to New. You don't need to. Yeah, I mean,
if you make a big trade for Jack and you give up the farm for Jack, then it's about waiting out Luke.
But if you get Jack, it doesn't matter necessarily if you get Luke, right? It's up to Luke to join his brothers in Vancouver at that point, right?
Yeah. The other thing to keep him happy is to just create a winner, of course. Surround him with enough talent that, they're so close to the Stanley Cup, he couldn't possibly leave to New Jersey. Maybe, after watching the playoffs and seeing sort of what's working, should they surround him with some of the hot performers? The guys that we know can perform in the playoffs. Guys like that Kuzmenko guy in L.A., the Beauvillier guy, Chatfield, Gaudette, guys that perform in the playoffs. Is that what the
Nate
Canucks
Schmidt to give him the puck as well? Yeah.
I mean, it seems so simple. Like, those are the guys you keep around, right?
I looked at it yesterday. This is before last night's games. I think it was around like 9% of the goals scored in the playoffs had been scored by former Canucks players. It was just unbelievable. Amazing. Yeah, so the list is Kuzmenko's got 2, Schmidt's got 2, Beauvillier, OEL has a goal for Toronto, Jalen Chatfield.
But all their points too. They're all getting assists as well.
You like no offense defensemen like Chatfield are scoring.
Yeah.
Yep.
In the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's unbelievable.
It is interesting. I mean, I was looking at, like, okay, are these guys actually difference makers on their teams? Like, looking to sort of like just a quick look at like ice time and whatnot. I mean, most of them, like Gaudette is not playing a ton for the Sens.
But Gaudette scored a whole lot.
Defenseman.
Gaudette was
his scoring rate. Yeah.
Was it like 18, 19 goals this year for Adam Gaudette?
And his rate per 60 was
his rate per 60 would be off the charts. Yeah, because he played pretty much on the fourth line all year, and he scored that many goals. Yeah. Sorry, Rob.
Yeah, no. I mean, Ekman Larsson is playing as a top 4 defenseman for the Leafs this year. I mean, and that's a first place team. So I think you have to give him his due. He's I don't think he'd fallen completely off. Does that seem like a long time ago now that they bought out OEL so that they could sign Carson Soucy and Ian Cole? I think there's going to be some. I don't know how that one's going to get relitigated. I think because you look at what it's going to cost them going forward to have Ekman Larsson winning a Stanley Cup with the Panthers and playing a significant role on the Leafs. It's gonna be interesting at the very least to take another look at that one. But the guy that's making the biggest difference, Beauvillier is playing 15 minutes a night, but the guy's playing the biggest difference is Andrei Kuzmenko, 18 minutes a night. He's got 5 points, 2 goals, 3 assists. He's great on the power play. But he's also, he's playing like big minutes. He's playing on their top line with Kopitar. Who saw that coming?
Honestly, and Rob, when he got moved from Philly to LA, was that deadline day or just before, whenever it was?
Yep.
I turned and said to Blake, if there's a worse system for Kuzmenko to be in than Tortorella's, it's Jim Hiller's in LA. Like a defensive, like they go back to playing 1-3-1. Remember, Doughty said at the beginning of the year, we're not going to play 1-3, or Kopitar said at the beginning of the year, they don't want to play. They still play 1-3-1. They still play this super passive, trapping defensive system, and there's freaking Andrei Kuzmenko.
I watched a couple back checks. They are not super intense,
but they're present.
But yes, you can tell he's got the magnifying glass on, and I think he knows, guys. He's in the playoffs now. I think he knows, okay, I know I can coast a little bit in October, but I'm not doing that now. And yeah, he's playing just fine. He's playing just fine.
Mayor of Wrongville for me. Rob, let's ask you our Surrey Mitsubishi poll question. Does bringing back Pettersson and Demko, is that a better idea than trading both?
I mean, I'd like to know what the offers are, but I think so. I you know me. I mean, I probably have my plan is like the boring plan. Like don't overreact to what was a really, really disappointing year. Because I think you're going to be trading you would be trading Elias Pettersson right now at his all-time low value, right? And there's a ton of reason to believe that he'll bounce back and be the guy that he's been through most of his career, right? It's been frustrating. It's been so frustrating. The last year has been brutal, but you have a summer off. You can train properly. They've got the Canucks have given him the list of things to do this summer. I think he bounces back. I really do. Am I 100% confident? No, but I think that's the bet you have to make this summer. And same thing with Thatcher Demko. Like, what are you getting for Thatcher Demko? The goaltending market's always weird, but what are you going to get for Demko? I don't know that, I think you lower your ceiling if you trade both of those guys, because you're going to be trading them at super low value. The better bet is to bring them back and hope they return to being that all-star level that they were the season before last.
Yep, and they've already made a trade at low value, lower your ceiling deal on JT Miller. Lastly, Lionel Messi here in Vancouver tonight. You guys were tracking his flight yesterday, Rob?
We were tracking the flight, I now follow Inter Miami's Instagram and Twitter accounts. We were all over that. It's funny how the announcement comes in the form of an Instagram post with Inter Miami showing Messi at the airport. They can't announce it. They can't say that he's coming. They can't do any of that. But it all comes out through social media. So that was the first inkling that we got. And then, people were tracking the plane on social media. There were people that greeted him as he got off the plane, yelling, "Hey, Messi," and he waved. There were people at UBC. They were training last night, and people kind of peeking through the bushes, and I saw there were people climbing trees. I have not heard about a drone yet. I did think that was, you're in Canada now, there should have been a drone, but there were no drone spotting yet. But I think it's really cool. I'm going to be there tonight. It's really exciting. I think it's going to be I think this is one of the biggest sporting events of the year, right? It's going to be a real event at BC Place, and let's just hope he plays. I mean, can you imagine if he doesn't actually touch the pitch? I think he will play. I don't see that happening. I think he's going to play.
he's got to play. You play. He'll play.
I don't think they bring him in the air. The longest flight of the season.
You don't bring him in the air down to put him on the pitch. Okay, you two enjoy tonight. Perhaps you'll be seatmates at the BC Place press box. Get your popcorn ready, and we'll catch up next week. Thanks, Rob.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys.